In this episode of the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Missionary Mike and Tyler Reveles go over Week 8 waiver wire, who to add, who to target, and much, much more. Here we are on the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Missionary Mike, and I'm here with
your boy T.
Your boy T, also known as Tyler Reveles. My name is Michael Marcanu. That's my true name, not my real name, but it's my true name. And today we're going into Week 8. Week Ocho.
The season is flying by,
I know,
isn't
it's
it?
fucking
It's
pissing.
crazy to think we're in Week 8
Yeah, it
already.
drives me
So,
crazy.
we're getting to the halfway point of the season.
Yeah, back in the day, this would be the exact halfway point, but now we have an extra game, so it's kind of not. But let's go. Today we are talking waiver wire. We're going to talk about who to pick up at quarterback, who to pick up at running back, wide receiver, tight end, and even some defensive streams for Week 8.
Yeah. Our defensive streams were money this last week. I think
Yeah,
they
we
all
said-
got 10 or more points.
Yeah, last week we told you to add the Cardinals.
Money.
We told you to add the Packers.
Cheese.
Cheese. We told you to add the Patriots.
54 points.
54 points. Well,
crazy.
obviously it's defense, but whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to go into all of that. But I will say, if you are listening on audio right now, go ahead and leave us a rating and review on the Apple Podcast app if that's where you're listening. Subscribe if you're on Spotify, all that good stuff. Those are the big ones. But however you do it and anything, help us rank our podcast. We were at, I think we got ranked in sports news like number 92. Which isn't
Top
anything to write home about.
baby.
Nothing to write home about, but I mean, it's moving up the ranks. It's kind of cool. So appreciate all you guys if you've been listening to audio. That's awesome. But also, so let's go into. I want to start us off with our comment of the week. I mean, these honestly should be comment of the day because we record multiple podcasts a week. But anyways, let's go into it. We got JP in a standard 10-man league. Should I trade Gibson, Keenan Allen, and T. Higgins for Javonte Williams, Tyreek Hill, and Mike Davis? He said I could also get Claypool instead of Mike Davis.
I mean, for me personally, anytime you can get Tyreek Hill on your team, sign me up all day.
And Javonte Williams, obviously, we always talk about Javonte. I love Javonte Williams.
I mean,
Chase Claypool would be money.
Yeah, I would try to get Claypool instead of Mike Davis. It seems like the
Mike
Falcons are
nothing.
leaning towards the Cordero Patterson experience. I think Cordero Patterson had like 18 touches and Mike Davis had like 4 or something like that. So
Yeah,
we're seeing like a changing of the guard over there. And
Before it was just receptions. Now it's rushing as well.
yeah. If I could get Javonte Williams, I think he'll kind of get more utilized as the, tail end of the season comes around as well. Claypool, Mike, you talked on him. He was kind of like a buy low guy for you, especially Juju being out, coming off a bye.
Yeah, Juju being out.
His upside's crazy.
His targets have gone up a lot. He's on bye week, so people might not be thinking about it. So, yeah, in that trade, I think you 100% pull the trigger on that. Hopefully it's still available because, hopefully you made that trade because it was, I think, a day ago or day and a half ago or something. But JP, appreciate your comment. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, give me Claypool, Javonte, and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, for Keenan Allen and Gibson. I
And
mean,
Higgins,
Gibson's been, he's been hurt, dealing with the shin thing, and Keenan Allen. It's like Keenan Allen's like you're taking a loss, but you're winning. You got Tyreek Hill, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great trade.
I mean, Tyreek Hill could win you a week on his own. He could give you 30 burger,
Yeah,
something crazy like that.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so also before we go into the podcast, I want to say something about our sponsors, Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is kind of like a DFS app. It's similar to other apps like DraftKings or FanDuel and whatnot. I don't even want to say their names because Underdog is low-key better. It's just newer. That's the difference between them.
It's the new hotness on the street.
It's the new hotness. But listen, if you download Underdog Fantasy and you use promo code AVG. This is new. So before they were just giving a $10 with your first deposit. Now they're giving you a promo code with our promo code AVG. They're going to match you up to $100. So if you go download the app right now and you put $100 in there, they'll match you up to $100. You could have $200 in the app right now. And imagine you just throw that. And what they have on there is like these player pick'ems or player props, pick'ems or whatnot. And you can literally just do like over under on yards, receiving, whatnot. I mean, last week there was one for Cooper Kupp over under 89 receiving yards. And that guy's literally had one game underneath 90 receiving yards. So I was like, yeah, take that over. So, I mean, you could literally get there's picks like that, and you can literally put that $200 to it, and you could double your money pretty quickly.
Yeah. That's what we like to call in the biz free money.
Yeah, that's what we like to call in the biz. I like money in my account.
I guess.
I don't know. I fucking swing and a miss. Okay. But yeah, I just wanted to get that out of the way for audio listeners. Appreciate you guys so much. All right, let's go into the waiver wire. Oh, dude, I forgot. I got these sweet drops here. I can
Pad the wire.
Pad the wire is back,
we got
baby.
Pad the wire.
I like it.
Yeah, he likes it. What's that? I like it from.
I think it's from the testosterone's high today. I like it.
Okay, yeah. I was like, I wonder what that is from.
The testosterone high today.
Dude, the testosterone is high today. That's what he's trying to say, testosterone. But okay, yeah, we're gonna go to quarterbacks for the waiver wire week 8. First on our board, we have our boy Deshaun Watson. This is just kind of like a sneaky ad, right?
Yeah, so I guess you could say the testosterone is getting high because the trade deadline is approaching. I think it's next Tuesday.
Testosterone.
I think it's November 2nd. Don't quote me on that. But, yeah, I think it's coming up next Tuesday, the trade deadline. So the Deshaun Watson trade rumors are starting to heat up. You know, obviously you got a lot of rumors coming out to Miami.
Yeah, it's Tuesday, November 2nd at 4 p.m.
Yeah. And, you know, just as a Miami fan, let me go on a little rant for a second. Obviously going from Tua to Deshaun would be an upgrade. I'm not saying that Deshaun's not fantastic and he's not great and he wouldn't help make the Miami Dolphins a better football team. But it's like, dude, I just hate the criticism that Tua gets. Like, the guy hasn't even played a full 16 games yet. You know, like, I get it. He's had a couple turnovers the last couple games, but, I mean, he's highly efficient with the ball. He's highly accurate. He's got, like, 6 passing touchdowns in the last 2 games. He's had over 300 yards and, like, 290 yards in the other game. It's just, like, I don't think Miami is losing because of Tua. It's like, yeah, you upgrade at the position, but that doesn't solve the run defense. That doesn't solve how bad the pass defense is now. It doesn't solve the fact that Will Fuller and Devontae Parker can't stay healthy and stay on the field. So, as a Dolphins fan, it would be tight to get Deshaun Watson, but it doesn't solve anything. There's just so many other things or issues that the Miami Dolphins need to fix or address, in my opinion, at least, for them to be successful and be a playoff or a Super Bowl contender. But, yeah, so you got the Miami rumors heating up for Deshaun Watson. A couple of the teams that have emerged are the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos. And low-key for me, I think the Carolina Panthers would be the best situation for him there. I mean, obviously Sam Darnold came out. He was hot like Hansel. A couple easy matchups, but the last couple weeks he's been pretty bad. I guess it also maybe it's the CMC factor for Sam Darnold that, you know, it's pretty easy when you just throw the ball to CMC 10 times and it's a 5-yard pass and he gets you 80, 90 yards, after the catch. Obviously CMC hasn't been there, so that obviously could be in correlation to why Sam Darnold hasn't been very good. But, I mean, yeah, if the Panthers got Deshaun Watson, just think of the weapons they have. I mean, DJ Moore, I know Robbie Anderson hasn't been doing much, but they paid that guy a ton of money, so they plan to utilize him for the next couple of years. Terrace Marshall, talented rookie out of LSU. And then, yeah, hopefully CMC can come back and stay healthy. So if I'm the Carolina Panthers, I'm probably doing everything in my power to pull off this trade and get Deshaun Watson because they do have a good defense. And if they could just upgrade to that quarterback position, I think the Panthers can make a serious run in the playoffs to, contend.
And here's the thing is, like, your defense can, with the Panthers defense, your defense can only be so good if they're on the field constantly. You know what I mean? If you're constantly punting, the time possession is the wrong way, it's going to screw you up. So, in defensive Panthers defense.
But, yeah, Deshaun Watson, he's available in 75% of leagues. So, I've gone out in a couple leagues. I've grabbed him and I stashed him. In one league, I have Tannehill. He's kind of been underperforming. I know Tannehill, Julio Jones, and A.J. Brown haven't been able 100% on the field together. So, maybe that's kind of a factor. Obviously, they run the ball a ton with Derrick Henry. But, if you're kind of struggling at the quarterback position, it's like, why not take a shot on Deshaun Watson if he's out there and just stash him for the next couple weeks? You know, and if it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, whatever, you just drop him back down to the waiver wire. You know, as far as like the court cases go, you know, if he does get traded, he's eligible to play right away. So like he can literally step in very first week with the new team and play. He's not like suspended or being fined or anything like that. I think the only way he would get in trouble is if all these court cases turn into felonies. So,
because he's technically it's all alleged right now. He's not charged with anything technically.
Yeah. So yeah. Go out, grab him, stash him because, like I said, if he goes to like a team like the Panthers, you know, even Miami, I guess if he does go there, and they do get Parker, Fuller, Gesicki, Jalen Waddle, all those 4 guys fully healthy on the field. I mean, those are a ton of weapons for a guy like Deshaun Watson to utilize. And then the Broncos obviously have some good weapons in their own right as well. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have him in Dynasty, and everybody's trying to trade for him now, all of a sudden. But, yeah, let's move on to the next quarterback. We got our boy Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins. No, they weren't on. Never mind. Kirk Cousins, I feel like every year he's a guy that we end up talking about on waiver wire. You can always, like, he seems like to be a guy you can stream. He's always kind of half available. I always liked Kirk. Back in the day, I used to be Big Ben, Kirk Cousins, and just flip him out.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking for a streaming quarterback, or you know, maybe if you just kind of need a quarterback, I mean, Kirk Cousins is available in like 40 to 60% of leagues this week. They're going to be at home against Dallas. Both teams coming off a bye. I mean, I like Kirk Cousins in this matchup. We've seen Dallas. You know, I know Trayvon Diggs is having a crazy good year in terms of like the interceptions, but you know their pass defense has been giving it up. Dallas has allowed 290 or more passing yards in 5 of the 6 games so far this season, and Kirk Cousins already has 3 games where he's thrown 300 or more passing yards. He also has the 4th best completion percentage in the NFL. So I love this matchup for Kirk Cousins this week against the Dallas Cowboys. I think this will be a shootout. I like the over in this game. So yeah, give me all the Kirk Cousins this matchup. This week. The
Cowboys are letting at least 20 points a game for sure, and in a lot of games 30 point. I mean 21, 28, 20, 17 with the Chargers game, but they are letting up. There's a couple games where they're letting up like 30 something points, 31 points to the Bucks. 34 point. Oh yeah, never mind. But yeah, so the Cowboy, I like that matchup. Yeah. Shootout.
Should be a top 10 play, Kirk Cousins this week.
Top 10. No, I like it. Fucking send it in. All right, let's go on to Daniel Jones. Did you see the catch he made?
I did see the catch.
It's pretty nuts.
It's like move over Odell Beckham Jr. There's a new one-handed catch in New York.
I saw a bunch of shit on Twitter. It was like ODJ. Daniel Jones. It's crazy. Even without the weapons, Daniel Jones can be. You can start him sometimes.
I mean, yeah, Danny Dimes, he's 75% available right now. They're going to be against the Chiefs in Kansas City, and I don't know what it is, but the Kansas City Chiefs defense has just been doo-doo. Like they've been so really bad. In terms of just like giving up like total points, like offense and defense, they've allowed 27 or more points against their defense in every single game except for one. The only team that didn't score 27 or more points against the Kansas City Chiefs was the Washington football team. Danny Dimes, he came out hot. He was hot like Hansel. First 3 weeks, he had 20 or more points. Then he fell off. He got hurt in week 5. And then after that, 2 tough matchups against the Rams and the Panthers defense. Also, he's short some receivers. Sterling Shepard's been banged up. Darius Slayton finally came back, but he was banged up. Galladay's been banged up for the majority of the year. Kadarius Tony, the electric rookie, we'll touch on him in a little bit. He's been banged up as well. Saquon's been out. So I mean, this offense is just falling apart. But I mean, like I said, Kansas City, they're just giving it up like Blair. So this is a money matchup here. I'm expecting the Chiefs at home to get that offense right and put up some points, which in return will mean that Danny Dimes is going to have to slang that thing and put up some points. It will obviously help if he can get these receivers healthy, if he can get Galladay back, if he can get Sterling Shepard back, if he can get Kadarius Tony back. I mean, even if he gets like 2 out of those 3 back, it'll just boost his value for this week and going forward.
Yeah. I mean, Daniel Jones is... He's how do we say
Hansel, so hot right now.
He's Hansel, hot like Hansel. Let's go on to my guy here. I put we got Trevor Lawrence. I know Trevor Lawrence isn't like the sexiest play. I know he had a couple weeks where he's thrown a lot of interceptions. But the Trevor Lawrence plays the Seahawks in Week 8. Okay, check it out. In the last 3 weeks, he's only had one interception. He has had 2 rushing touchdowns. And in the past 2 games, he's thrown over 270 yards. Last week, threw over 300 yards. I think he's on the up and up. His roster percentage is at 35% right now. And going up against the Seahawks, I mean, the Seahawks Saints game last night on Monday night was very slow scoring, so you might be like, oh, well, maybe you can't pass against this team. No, Jameis Winston and Geno Smith couldn't put anything together. It was the most embarrassing thing for quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. It was so insane. These guys were just it seemed to be that these quarterbacks were incompetent. So I don't think it's that, and I think Trevor Lawrence is going to show up and do well. I expect a big game from Marvin Jones, and whatnot. So I like it. Trevor Lawrence, Week 8. Stream them, add them on your waiver wire. It's pretty hot.
I like it. Like you said, I mean, the guy's offering the rushing upside as well. 2 touchdowns in the last couple weeks. Coming off a bye. And that's one thing we touched on, when he was coming out of Clemson, is his rushing upside. And I don't quote me on it exactly, but I think it was back-to-back seasons. He had 7 rushing touchdowns. So a guy who, like you said, when they get in close, still utilize him at the goal line on those RPOs.
I mean, look, interceptions happens, especially with these rookies. Peyton Manning had a league record of interceptions his first year.
Yeah,
So Trevor Lawrence, Adam. Let's go on to my boy Carson Wentz. I like Carson Wentz this week. He's been surprisingly good. He's ballsy. He does shit where I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You've been injured so many times. Why are you running the ball up the way you are? But surprisingly, he has a little bit of rushing upside. Sorry, I'm losing track of where I'm at. But yeah, I like Carson Wentz this week. Playing against the Titans. Pass rush did look a little bit better. Got an over-under of 49. I do think that, if T.Y. Hilton comes back, you got more options. They played in the rain, too. It was a really rainy game if you watched that Sunday night game against the Niners. So that limited on their passing. I mean, there was a lot of times where people were dropping stuff, a lot of stuff people were fumbling the ball, interceptions, and things like that where they wouldn't happen in a normal game without the rain. So, I like the Colts. It's in Indianapolis, so you don't got to deal with any weather. So, Tennessee Titans, I think that should be a decently high-scoring game. I think it could be a shootout possibly.
I mean, he's like a QB2 for me. The last couple games.
I think, if you're in a pinch.
The rain game, and then, against Houston, they were smacking Houston, so no need to throw. But he has had at least two touchdowns in 5 of these 7 games. The only thing is that the upside's kind of not there. I mean, only over 250 passing yards twice all season. But like I said, a couple games where they're kind of blowing some teams out. Weather has some factor there. Obviously, if T.Y. Hilton can come back, like you said, Mike, it just kind of boosts the value there.
I think him and Michael Pittman are just getting started. You got to realistically think. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like you said, because he was banged up for pretty much all of training camp and preseason. Carson Wentz. So they're still kind of just building that chemistry and that rapport. But it is reassuring to see that he does like to take these deep shots. I feel like he does take a couple deep shots each game. So you like seeing that. He's not afraid to take the deep shot and go for the home run.
Yeah, as on the highlights we're playing, he throws a fucking bomb.
Yeah, so.
It was the Eagles highlights, but okay, we can go on to the running back position. Waiver wire, who to add on the running back position. We're talking first our boy Elijah Mitchell. We've talked about him for about 3 weeks now. I'm sold. I don't even like Niners running backs usually, but I mean, you can't deny it. Elijah Mitchell, he had that big run right at the beginning, like a 50-yard touchdown on the 5th play or something.
Bro, I feel like you were doubting this one last week on me though. I was Elijah Mitchell, and you were like, I don't know.
Well, because I mean, dude, So how many times have we settled in and been like, this is the guy?
Yeah.
And then it completely changes the next week.
Yeah.
So
yeah, hopefully if you listen to us and you grabbed Elijah Mitchell because his roster percentage did go up. I was looking at it from last week to this week. Still available. And see, here's the thing. Like and I always say it. Obviously you go to like ESPN, you go to some of these other websites, and like they'll only show you the players that are like 50% or more available. So for me, I just like to see like, hey, is he out there? Like, is this player available? Like, I'm in 6 leagues, so it's like, is this player available in one of my 6? Not 6 leagues, maybe that's a lot, but 25%. Is he out there in one of 4 leagues? Is he out there in one in every 3 leagues? Then if he is, then maybe he's out there in your league, and if he is, then he should be on your roster because these are players that need to be rostered like 100% in my opinion. Because if they're on my waiver wire, I'm 1,000% trying to get them on my team. I mean, ESPN, Sleeper, and Yahoo, he's 25% available. And then on NFL app, which I just think probably the dumbest people play on there because their roster percentage is always all over the place. He's 50% available on the NFL app. But, I mean, yeah, Elijah Mitchell came out, 18 carries, 107 yards, got the touchdown. He is the main guy. He is the starting running back for the San Francisco 49ers who want to be one of the run-heaviest offenses in the NFL. So, yeah, if he's out there, just keep it short and sweet and simple. If he's out there, go get Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I'm not mad at that.
I was like, oh, say less.
So I will say, I want to mention this especially we're talking about running backs. We say this every week, but go into your league and search for players and go by roster percentage and sort through that way. Because I just looked in one of my leagues that has a short bench. Someone last week dropped Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You're on the bye weeks. There's so many last week. There were so many bye weeks last week, so people are dropping stupid people. I mean, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he had the MCL sprain, but he's going to come back, and he's going to get that roll back, and I might be able to get him on my waiver wire for free. So double check your things because you never know what gem is lying there. Yeah, it's hot like Hansel.
I like it.
Yeah. Let's go on to the next running back here. We got Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah, you got it. Dre's dude, if he was here, he'd be like, this is my guy.
This is my dude.
This is my guy, Kenneth Gainwell. But, yeah, he's 75% available. You got Miles Sanders. He goes down with what they're calling it is a low ankle sprain. So does he miss a week or two? Probably. Obviously Kenneth Gainwell is getting a little more incorporated in the offense. But, to me, this is more of like a rental because I feel like you don't really like what the Eagles' rushing attack is doing on the offensive side of the ball. Miles Sanders has been one of the biggest busts or biggest disappointments this year if you drafted him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is more of a rental for me. I mean, he fills in for Miles Sanders. When Miles Sanders goes down, he gets you 5 carries, 20 yards, and then gets you 4 catches for 41 yards and the receiving touchdown. That's kind of what Gainwell's probably better known for, in my opinion, his receiving upside rather than the actual rushing upside.
PPR guy.
Yeah. Especially when the best running back on the team is probably the quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So, yeah, this is more of a rental for me if you're, like, desperate and you just need, like, a fill-in, a spot start. Because, like I said, I mean, the ankle injury, they're saying it's not too serious, so it could just be a week or two until we see Miles Sanders return. And then, yeah, like I said, this is just – I'm not sold on this rushing attack for the Eagles outside of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I'm not sold on the passing attack either, to be honest. But, yeah, I think I have him in a couple leagues. Deep in my bench, but I think it's not a bad play when you got weeks with a bunch of buys. Only 2 teams on bye week this week, though. Yeah. But let's go on to my guy here. I got my boy Brandon Bolden. So the Patriots put up 54 points. We talked about it. That's not every week. The Patriots are not going to just absolutely destroy every week like that. But Brandon Bolden, it seems as though, Ramondre Stevenson was a healthy scratch. It seems as though Brandon Bolden is now filling in for this James White role that the Patriots always have. So if you're in a PPR league and you need just kind of like a running back flex, PPR guy, I think Brandon Bolden's a pretty safe guy. He's 6 for 7 targets and 79 yards and a touchdown. He's only rostered in 5% of leagues. So Brandon Bolden is 100% available right now for you. I think it's a sneaky play. Bill Belichick, he's the kind of person that will go with the guy he likes. And obviously, for Ramondre Stevenson was a healthy scratch. It tells me that he's confident in Brandon Bolden, and he didn't really do anything to tell Bill Belichick that he's not worth this spot. So, to me, I like it.
Yeah, Dolphinately. I mean, yeah, like I said, one thing with Bill Belichick is that he likes this. He has like certain key role players. You know, Brandon Bolden's mainly like a special teamers kind of guy who can play running back. You know, I think if they were sold on Brandon Bolden, you know, you don't go out and draft Ramondre Stevenson. Obviously, he's a rookie, so I think going forward, or especially in dynasty leagues, if I can get Ramondre Stevenson on my team, I would definitely like that. But it's Damian Harris as the lead guy. But yeah, outside of that, it's Brandon Bolden who seems to be the pass-catching running back in this offense here. And like I said, it's Bill Belichick trusts him. You know, he's been with the team for so many years. He knows the offense. So, like, Belichick's thinking, like, this is a guy, you know, we use the term lunch pail guy. You know, he's basically a lunch pail guy here. He just comes in, gets the job done, and goes home for Bill Belichick and the Patriots offense. So, I mean, how many times are they going to score 54 points? Probably not ever again the rest of the season. They might not even top 40 points again the rest of the season. But like I said, PPR-wise, if he's going to be that quote-unquote James White role, I mean, why not take a shot on it?
Yeah, I think, yeah. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
That's good.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, let's go on to the next one here. We got Michael Carter. There was one more thing I was going to say, but I totally lost my train of thought. But Michael Carter for the New York Jets comes in, gets you about 14 fantasy points last week. I don't know if that's PPR or half. I think it's half point. But not too shabby of a start, especially against the Patriots. You know, you didn't think there was going to be a lot of running, but if you were in a pinch, you might have started Michael Carter like I did in one league. You're saying to go pick him up?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me because I'm just like, the Jets offense is just terrible. They could have the worst offense in the league. And, you know, outside of Corey Davis, who's been boom or bust, it's hard to, like, really trust anybody. I mean, yeah, you got Crowder. Yeah, you got Elijah Moore. You know, those guys. But they're just so, like, you can't really trust those guys. And then, obviously, the running backs, you know, to start the season, you had Ty Johnson, Tevin Coleman, and the rookie Michael Carter out of North Carolina. But it seems like Michael Carter is kind of taking over as the starter. Played 72% of the snaps last week, and he's led all Jets running backs in snaps the last 3 weeks. And in the games that he's done that, he's had 10 or more PPR points in those games that he's had the most snaps. He's had 13 or more touches in all 3 of those games as well. So as gross as the Jets offense may be, as much as I lack confidence in this offense, you know, I always say it, men lie, women lie, the numbers don't lie. And the numbers here are trending in the right direction. So, and at a position, the running back position, I should say at least, you know, I always say it, you know, you can never have enough depth at the position. And, you know, with injuries and all that stuff, bye weeks, etc. Like, yeah, go get Michael Carter on your team if you can go get him. The only thing that worries me is just he's not very big. He's like 5'8", 200 pounds. So, but he was also, you know, to his defense, when we were doing the rookies, you know, breakdowns in the pre-draft season, he's probably the most elusive, shiftiest running back in this whole entire class. Like, you know, his juking and his stop-go speed, his cuts, like, just super shifty, super elusive. Like, think of like Cadarius Tony, but plays running back. So,
yeah.
I mean, yeah, if he's out there, go grab him.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. Michael Carter. I started him in last week when it helped me out. Big time.
Nice.
Big time.
Fuck it, send it in.
Okay, let's go into Devin Singletary. I mean, dude, are you abandoning our boy Zach Moss? What's going on here?
Nah, not abandoning Zach Moss, but, you know, Singletary, he's 40 to 50% available depending on what league you're in. But the snap shares have been pretty much like 50-50 almost. I think it's like 45% Singletary, 55% Zach Moss. I mean, at the worst, it's 40% Singletary, 60% Zach Moss. But I do like this matchup here against my Miami Dolphins. Our run defense has been trash.
It's how you say, a piece of power.
Yeah, it's not very good at all. This week they're going to be at home against Miami, coming off a bye. You know, and his best game of the season so far, Singletary, was against Miami back in week 2. So I'm expecting the Bills to just smack the Dolphins in this one, as sad as that is to say as a Dolphins fan. So you can see a lot of leaning on the run in the second half, a lot of Singletary, a lot of Zach Moss. So, yeah, you know, if you're in a pinch, you know, you just need like, hey, I need a running back that has some upside here, I like Singletary for his upside.
Yeah, if you're 2-5 and you're like,
I just hope we can win a game.
maybe throw Devin Singletary in there as a fucking sneaky play, Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're hurt for running back, I like Singletary. I think he's a good spot start this week.
Yeah. So waiver wire, Adam. A lot of these guys, you like even the Brandon Bolden one. It's not so much a waiver. Like I'm not going to put a waiver claim on it, but I'm not mad at adding it.
Yeah.
As
and like some of these are like we're saying like spot starts or like weekly rental. Gainwell. Sure. He's probably going to use him for like a week or two potentially. Can you roster him? Yeah, but like his real value is probably going to be for a week or two. Like Singletary, I think he's got a lot of value this week going forward. Not so much, but like God forbid if anything ever happened to Zach Moss. Singletary, if he's on the waiver wire, he would be the number one waiver wire claim for that week if anything happened to Zach Moss. So, it's just always good to have these guys on your bench. I'd rather have a guy like Singletary on my bench instead of a sixth-string wide receiver, or a third quarterback or like a second bum tight end. Like, right. Give me a guy who's, if something happens, his upside goes through the roof.
Listen, you're selling me on it. And I'm about to.
Bet the wire! Bet the wire!
All right, I'm done. I'm doing too much. We got your boy Savannah Ahmed for the Miami Dolphins. You're saying go grab this man. What's the story? What's the haps? What's going on?
Yeah, so it's another one where like maybe I'm not spending a waiver claim, so I probably don't even going to know who Savannah Ahmed is. If I'm in a FAAB league, I'm dropping maybe a couple dollars. I'm not really breaking the bank to get him, but Malcolm Brown lands on the IR. So the only two running backs left are Myles Gaskin, who I think's value shoots up now immensely because you're not having Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, he was the guy that's snaking.
He was snaking some touches, and Malcolm Brown is just terrible. It's like the Jordan Howard experience 2.0 from last year. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, so Malcolm Brown on IR. I do think that Myles Gaskin's value does go up now because he should see that 60% snap percentage, 65% snap percentage that he was seeing last year. And that's why we were so high in Myles Gaskin last year, is because he was seeing like 60+% of the snaps and he was being utilized heavily. So he was getting you a safe floor of like, 40 rushing yards and then like 40 receiving yards. So he was getting you a nice floor in total scrimmage yards completely. So I think this will be a running back by committee though. Again, I think you'll see Gaskin get around 60% of the snaps, but I do believe that Savannah Ahmed is going to get utilized as well. He'll probably see about 40% of the snaps. Kind of like in that same ballpark range of where like a Singletary will be playing snap percentage-wise. And in terms of like maybe Gaskin's like a better overall running back, I do believe that Savannah Ahmed is the more explosive back. Like if there's a running back on the Dolphins that's going to take a run 60 yards to the house, 70 yards to the house, it's Savannah Ahmed. It's not Myles Gaskin in my opinion. So if just a sneaky depth guy here, like I said, you can never have enough depth at the running back position. So, yeah, just maybe something to keep an eye on and monitor.
Totally.
But,
Definitely. Yeah, I like, I mean, dude, what is going on with Miami? Look at this. Week 4, Myles Gaskin snap percentage, 23%. Week 5, 69. Nice. Week 6, 36%. Week 7, 63%. It's just like boom, boom, boom. But now, hopefully.
Yeah, I think Gaskin is I don't want to say buy low because he's had 2 good games in the last 3 weeks, but maybe someone's thinking like, oh, this is my opportunity to sell high on Gaskin, and you go grab him. So because I think Gaskin will finally, kind of be what we thought Gaskin could be at the beginning of the season with no Malcolm Brown now. So, but yeah, maybe on the next guy might impact this as well though. So,
all right, let's go on to our boy Ronald Jones. You're talking about. I posted on Twitter. I was like, "Hey, don't go grab Ronald Jones just in case if you got a deep bench."
Yeah,
because he could get traded.
Yeah, so the trade deadline's coming up. I think it's like I said November 2nd. So there are some rumors that Ronald Jones might be getting traded. So Ronald Jones is still a pretty decent running back. I think not the greatest running back, but good enough to be in the NFL. Better than Malcolm Brown. What I'm saying? Better than like a Peyton Barber and these guys. So. Arguably you could say if he went to Miami, he would be the best running back on the Miami Dolphins. So that's what I'm saying. Gaskin's value kind of depends if they do make a move potentially. Like, does Miami go out and make a move and get Ronald Jones potentially? I'm not sure if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers want to get rid of him though. It's always nice. Like I said, even in real NFL, you can never have enough depth at the running back position. So, yeah, Fournette's been getting this like workhorse role. They got Gio Bernard there as well, but it's always good to have an extra running back like Ronald Jones on your depth chart for the Bucs. So, do they trade him? Maybe, maybe not. But if they do, let's say they trade him and he goes to a team where, I don't know, like the Dolphins potentially or something like that. People are going to be rushing to the waiver wire to grab him to see what he could be. Because, even though he gets traded to a team doesn't mean he's going to be the starter or hit or pop. But, he's going to be a hot commodity where people are going to want to grab him to see what he could be. So this is one of those, be a week early instead of a week late. Grab him, see where he lands. If he gets traded, maybe you got something. If he doesn't, you just drop him.
Yeah, I would think that the Bucs are like a hoarder.
Yeah.
Like they hoard players.
Nah, for sure.
So I would be surprised if he got traded, but you never know, dude. You never know.
Yeah.
Maybe something happens where they have an injury somewhere where they just need to like move some people around. You have no idea. But anyways, interesting. Oh, sneaky. Let's go into the wide receiver position. My favorite man of all time. I can't wait to talk about him. I have a man crush on this boy. His name is Cadarius Tony. And here's the thing, dude. I go to my waiver wire. I go to my ESPN, and I look. Cadarius Tony is being dropped. His roster percentage is at 43%. And listen.
Why?
Okay, so why is everybody dropping Kadarius Tony? Obviously last week there was a lot of buys, so
maybe you had to because
I understand
you
that.
needed
That's
somebody.
fine. That's fine. But go pick him back up. This man is insane. If he comes back, I think what was it, ankle injury, correct?
It was an ankle injury. Yeah.
If he comes back this week, I love Kadarius Tony, man. Like especially all these guys are on bye. And by the way, Kenny Galladay. I was reading some stuff about the beat writer. This guy he's got some legal stuff going on, and he's just not showing up to court. He keeps getting in trouble, and I don't even really know exactly what it's about. But Kenny Galladay, it seems like he's got some off the field stuff going on, as well as a lot of injuries happening at the wide receiver position for the Giants. So to me, it opens up a lot of opportunity for Kadarius Tony, and the guy's sick. And they're playing the Chiefs on Monday night. So if this guy starts this week, oh my God, that's fucking wet. Danny Dimes in primetime, I like it. I don't know.
I was like, oh, say less.
If he was out there, he'd be my number one waiver wire claim on for wide receivers at least.
Yeah, 100%. I think I don't know. I don't know if there's anything. This guy is so sick. He's
just watching these highlights. I know it's just it's pretty much these highlights are just from that Cowboys game, but that was a whole highlight reel. What he had like 10 catches, 189 yards. It's just
he beat Odell's record for rookie single game yard record.
He's good. He's good.
And we're like, people are talking about picking up Darius Slayton this week, and we were talking about Darius Slayton last week, but Kadarius Tony to me is much, much, much more valuable than Darius Slayton. I think as far as like persons that you want to target on this Giants offense, people are talking about Evan Ingram maybe. No, fuck all that. Kadarius Tony, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah. I guess only one person. If Sterling Shepard,
I'll
throw him as like an honorable mention for these Giants wide receivers. If Sterling Shepard's out there, definitely go get him because he was getting like 8, 9, 10 targets a game, and that type of volume is just insane. So if Sterling Shepard's there, go grab him. But I love Kadarius Tony.
I just feel like Sterling Shepard was getting that before Kadarius started having decent games.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like the offense might change a little bit now that they have the knowledge of Kadarius Tony's opportunity. And that week that he had 3 for 36, it was like on the first drive.
It was like I think he had 3 catches and 6 snaps. I think it was.
Yeah. So I don't know if that doesn't show you. And that was after the big game he had. So, anyways, Kadarius Tony, definitely go get him. Now we're moving on to the Jaguars side of the ball. They're playing the Seattle Seahawks this week. I like Laviska Shenault as a waiver wire ad.
This was another one I was kind of surprised to see on the waiver wire, but he's like 40 to 65% available depending on what league you're in. This guy needs to be rostered way more leagues than that. He's second on the team in targets behind Marvin Jones. He's got 40 targets on the season. And the Seahawks pass defense, not very good. They allowed the 6th most passing yards, and they've allowed the 8th most receptions to wide receivers. So when you think about that stat, 8th most receptions to wide receivers, you think about Laviska Shenault being like this PPR guy. So yeah, give me all the Laviska Shenault this week. Definitely grabbing him off the waiver wire and throwing him into my lineup at least as a flex option. So I mean, if you like Trevor Lawrence, you got to like the guys that he's throwing the ball to, right? Marvin Jones, Laviska Shenault.
Totally.
Yeah, go get him. And, maybe this is a good buy low opportunity on him. Coming off a bye, hasn't really been doing anything super crazy yet, but, maybe you can go out there and throw a little trade offer out there and grab him from the Laviska Shenault owner and get this guy on your team.
Yes, I do.
Or or maybe you do like a 2-for-2 trade or a 2-for-1. You just kind of throw him in there. You're like, hey, just give me Laviska Shenault too, and
Yeah, I do know.
Yeah, so I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
Let's go on to T.Y. Hilton. He had the quadriceps injury recently, but this man is still legit. I mean, don't forget Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, T.Y. Hilton, 75% available. They're going to be at home against the Titans. He had the one game where he came back, got you 4 catches on 4 targets for 80 yards. So that was against the Texans. They were smacking them. So you didn't have to really utilize him in that matchup too well. But he still got you a nice little game, especially in PPR. 12 points, safe floor, nothing crazy, but didn't bust for you at least. You got Paris Campbell, who season is done with the ankle injury, I believe it is. And then, Pascal's there, but he's kind of just like a veteran wide receiver. There's no real receiving threat in terms of the tight end position. I know Mo Alley Cox has been getting some touchdowns here and there, but, I mean, he's not getting you 5, 6, 7, 8 catches a game for 80 yards, like some of these other top tier tight ends.
Yeah, he's not taking up like a lot of the receiving work.
Yeah, and then the running backs, you got Naheem Hines and Jonathan Taylor getting theirs, but, if when T.Y. comes back, hopefully it's this week, the report, at least this morning, recording this early Tuesday morning, that he looks good, and they're optimistic that he'll come back for this game against the Titans. This passing game is going to be Michael Pittman Jr. and T.Y. Hilton. So it's like I'm going to want to get both those guys into my lineup if possible. So, yeah, give me all the T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, and this goes to show that Carson Wentz was a good choice. Go grab T.Y. Hilton. Then we got Rashad Bateman. I don't know how I feel about this one, but let's hear it.
I mean, I just threw Bateman in here because he's been like the hot commodity. He's been like a hot name that's going around. So if you're searching some Rashad Bateman info and you land in here, welcome. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button.
Yeah, sure.
But, they're going to be on a bye this week, so he's kind of more of a stash. This is kind of one of those things, too, where Mike was saying, you go to the players, you go to the receivers, and you hit that roster percentage filter to, filter through who the highest roster players are on the waiver wire, because if you go there, he's not going to be there because he's on a bye, so he's projected 0, so he won't show up on the just basic waiver wire wide receiver column or whatever. But 80% available. He's had 6 targets in back-to-back games, and it's crazy. The stat I think I saw or heard, Lamar Jackson's averaging like 6 or 7 more passes per game this year compared to last season. And I don't know if that's in correlation to the fact that, they lost J.K. Dobbins, they lost Gus Edwards. So now they're just like shuffling through these veteran running backs, Murray, Freeman, Tyson, Le'Veon. It's like a fucking carousel over there, trying to figure out who to start for the Ravens running backs. So maybe they're leaning more on Lamar Jackson in like the passing game compared to the running game. But yeah, so Bateman, rookie out of Minnesota, first rounder. Obviously, said you're going to get a guy because you want to utilize him on your team. I mean, the guy's super talented. The only knock I had on him was that he was going to the Ravens, who at that point were the run-heaviest team, and Lamar Jackson not being very accurate. I do got to give it to Lamar Jackson. He does throw some dimes here and there. Like that, the pass he threw to Marquise Brown in the back of the end zone was a dime. Obviously a really good catch by Hollywood Brown to catch the ball and then get his feet down for the touchdown. But I mean that pass was on the money in my opinion. So obviously if they're going to be throwing the ball a little bit more instead of running it as much, then why not take a shot on Bateman and see what he can be? He's the bigger body receiver. He could turn into something. So grab and stash play.
Yeah, I like Marquise Brown over Rashad Bateman. Obviously, that's not a crazy statement to make, but I don't know. Like, if you watch his highlights, like, watch Lamar try and throw it to him. Ready? Way over. Like, I mean, that was good defense, actually. But, if you watch his next play, he sailed it over him. And then I was watching you've watched more college highlights, so correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I was watching like kind of after the catch. Rashad Bateman, like it's almost like he gets nervous and falls forward a little bit on a couple of these plays. So I'm just not too excited about like Rashad Bateman.
Yeah,
I'm not that excited. That's all.
I feel you.
I'm gonna look.
I can see that side of it as well too. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe it's the Steelers fan of me hating on Ravens players. It could be, but whatever. Let's go on to the next wide receiver. We have Tim Patrick. I feel like we talk about him a lot. He didn't put up a huge game this past week, unfortunately, against the Browns on Thursday night. It was a little bit rough. But PPR leagues, I still think that he can do some work for you. You want to sell to people?
Yeah, we talk about Tim Patrick every single week. Like I said, I know, last week he didn't have a good game, but we kind of said it. It's kind of a tougher matchup on the road, and then but there was just so many buys, so many players on buys, so many good players. You had like Stephon Diggs, Manny Sanders, Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, just a couple off the top of my head, Thielen, Jefferson. There's a lot of good receivers that were on buy last week, so you might have had to throw Tim Patrick in your lineup last week, but obviously it gets you a dud. But for the most part, the guy's been pretty solid, especially in PPR leagues. He's had 12 or more PPR points in 5 of the 7 games. So I say it all the time. Men lie, women lie. The numbers do not lie. You're telling me there's a guy who's going to get me 12 or more PPR points more than like 70% of the time I put him in my lineup? Like, sign me up all day. Like, yeah, let me get that guy in my lineup. Especially a guy who's – I'm not banking on him to be my 1 or my 2. He's my wide receiver 3 or my flex option, most likely. So, and then the matchup is money. They're going to be at home against the Washington football team. The Washington football team, they allow the second most receptions to wide receivers and the second most receiving yards to wide receivers. So, yeah, I think Tim Patrick is going to be a money play this week. If you got Cortland Sutton, he's going to be a money play this week as well. Maybe we should have threw Teddy Bridgewater into the streaming quarterback options there. So, and there's actually rumors that Jerry Jeudy might come back as well. So, yeah, like that. Obviously, if Jerry Jeudy comes back, it's going to impact Tim Patrick's value to some degree. But Tim Patrick's not a guy who's, a guy who sees 8, 9, 10 targets. He's a guy who will get you, 5, 6 targets, but he's usually like, 4 for 80 and a touchdown or something like that. Or, even 4 for 80, that's your 12 points right there in PPR leagues. So,
yeah. Broncos coming off a 4-game losing streak. I think they'll bounce back against Washington.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to the tight end position. We got our boy Zach Ertz from the Philadelphia Eagles, goes to the Arizona Cardinals, has not a big game, but a big play for the Cardinals in week 7. So I'm not mad at it. He jumped right in there and he's getting, targeted. It's not a bad play if you could go grab Zach Ertz. What's his roster percentage?
Let's check this. He's more owned than not. I think he's only like 35% available. But like I said, that's 1 in every 3 leagues he's out there on the waiver wire. And for the position, especially the tight end position, of how thin and rare it is. If you go to the waiver wire in some leagues, it's just a dumpster fire of players trying to find a good tight end to get into your offense here. But we talked about Ertz. A couple weeks when he was still on the Eagles, when Goddard missed due to COVID, we said, hey, go get this guy. You could definitely play him for at least this week. So if you went out and got him, you started him that week, he got you a touchdown, and then you had him on your team, and then he gets traded, you started him again, puts up another good game for you here. He gets you 3 catches, 66 yards. Yeah. And, obviously, I say it all the time, I'm big on, if you trade for somebody, you go sign someone in free agency, it's because you want to utilize that guy. You're not trading for a guy to have him sit on the bench and not do anything for your team. So the only knock on Ertz is that there's just so many mouths to feed there. D-Hop, AJ Green, Christian Kirk, Rondale Moore, Ertz. You got Chase Edmonds out of the backfield.
James Conner.
So, yeah, it's just so many mouths to feed. A positive, they're the best team in the NFL right now. They're 7-0. So I think that's
hold up.
Yeah.
Reverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
if he's there, definitely freaking play him because they're good. All right, let's go on to CJ Uzomah. Okay, I'm kind of lost for words on this guy because we told you to play him a couple weeks ago. I think he finished as the tight end 1, actually.
Did we tell him to play him?
I
don't think I would ever tell anyone to play CJ Uzomah.
No, I said it.
Oh, did you say it? Nice.
I said it. Maybe it was on the waiver wire ad. It was when they were out players. A couple weeks ago is when they were out, like T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. and he had an okay game. But anyways, CJ Uzomah, obviously, what's it called? He had the 2 touchdowns on some big plays. What do you make of this? Because the Bengals put up 41 points, and they don't usually do that. I mean, to me, I don't think it's going to happen every week, especially with all these wide receivers that are there. I don't know, though.
Yeah, I don't like it. Good for him. Like, good for him. And if you started CJ, who's your mama? Good for you and your mama. But yeah, I mean, he's had 2 games where he's gotten you 24 and 26 points, 90 yards and 2 touchdowns in both those games. But the targets just aren't there. I mean, 2, 1, 6, 2, 3, and 3. I mean, that is not the target volume you want to see for the tight end position. You're basically banking on him catching a long touchdown or just getting a touchdown in general. I mean, I don't like it. Good for him. If you have him, good for you. If you want to gamble on him, that he can get you these boom games where he gets you 3 catches on 3 targets for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. I mean, the odds of that happening on a consistent basis are very minimal.
The only thing is, I mean, he is on 83% of snaps. I don't know. I'm just not super excited about it. But I mean, if you want to go grab him, I understand.
Yeah. I mean, Darren Waller had more
points.
targets in week 1 than he does the whole year.
You're chasing points is the thing that when you go and pick up a guy like CJ Uzomah, you're chasing points. You're not really looking into the amount of targets and things like that. So
yeah.
But yeah, let's go on to Logan Thomas. Is our boy coming back? Logan Thomas. No more Ricky Seals.
So yeah, this is more of a grab and stash, or just keep an eye on it. Obviously goes out week 4 with the hamstring injury, and then he was placed on IR, so he's missed the last 3 games. This week they're going to be at Denver, and then they're on a bye. So there's a good probability. I mean, if I'm an NFL franchise, I'm just, hey, guy's got a hamstring injury. Like, hey, let me just get this guy healthy. You'll sit out 2 more weeks, and you can come back in week 10. So maybe he doesn't come back until week 10, but if Logan Thomas is on your waiver wire, especially if you have an IR spot open, go grab him. You throw him into your IR spot, and then it still leaves your bench open to grab players or whatever like that. It doesn't hurt you. Like, you literally just slide him right into your IR spot for free.
Slide him in.
And yeah, and I just like what he presents when he can come back. Obviously Ricky Seals-Jones has been a pretty serviceable replacement in the meantime, giving you a safe floor. I mean, Ricky Seals targets in those 3 weeks, 9, 6, and 7. But when Logan Thomas comes back, I'm expecting it to be the Logan Thomas show. I mean, we've seen it when Logan Thomas is there. He's playing like 100% of the snaps. Now that it's Ricky Seals-Jones, he's playing like 100% of the snaps. So when Logan Thomas comes back, I'm expecting Logan Thomas to reclaim that role and play 100% of the snaps. Nothing against Ricky Seals-Jones, but in terms of who's a better tight end or who's a better receiving tight end, it's Logan Thomas, and it's not even close in my opinion. So go out, grab him, throw him on your IR if you can. If not, just stash him.
And so it makes sense too, also to maybe try and trade Ricky Seals-Jones if you can. But you're not going to do it straight up. You're going to have to package, trade, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah. Let's go on to Robert Tonyan. Do we want to talk some trash on this guy or what? Because he's very similar to like CJ Uzomah and just if he gets the touchdowns.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he was a sit for us, and I guess we missed on that one. But yeah, like I said, the numbers were not trending in the right direction. He had the week 2 matchup against the Lions where he had 50 yards and a touchdown, got you a good game there. But the next 4 games, 4 games after that, he had 10 receiving yards or less. And he's actually had 10 or more receiving yards or less, or 10 receiving yards or less, not more. 10 receiving yards or less. And
or
5,
more or less.
No, yeah, less. So he's had 10 or less.
Yeah. I understand.
In 5 of these 7 games. So yeah, I get it. He came out. He got you 4 for 63 and a touchdown. And if you started him in a desperation, good for you. But this is another CJ Uzomah, who's your mama thing for me. He's just not consistent. I mean, yeah, he comes out and he gets you 16 this week, but then he's going to come out and get you 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. Like those are the other scores or points he's scored on a week-to-week basis, outside of the other 2 games that he's scored a touchdown. So trade him high, sell him high.
Yeah.
Ship him off if you can, because, you're getting MBS back. Alan Lazard's still there. Cobb's there. Aaron Jones didn't really get utilized in the passing game this last week. and obviously it's still the Devontae Adams show there for the Green Bay Packers. So, yeah, I'm not buying this at all.
Yeah, I'm good on Robert Tonyan. It doesn't matter the matchup either. It's just because it's like boom bust.
Yeah.
Because the problem is if we tell you to start him, and it's a lose-lose situation with Robert Tonyan. No matter how you start, to start.
I don't like.
You get what I mean? But yeah,
he's not finishing as a top 12 tight end. I'll just tell you that.
You know what it is? I can't confidently say go grab this guy.
Yeah.
So don't touch him. Let's go on to defenses for Week 8. We got the Cincinnati Bengals first.
It's just crazy. Who would have ever thought we'd be sitting here saying start the Bengals defense? I mean, I just never would have thought. And you got shout out to the Bengals. I mean, bless you.
I think we need to reevaluate how we talk about the Cincinnati Bengals.
I mean, yeah, in terms of like just pure football, like to go into Pittsburgh and win and go into Baltimore and win, those are two huge division road games that they've won. Arguably you could say they've lost a couple games. I think the two games they lost were against the Vikings and the Packers, both on field goals. So, they've been playing some good football. I mean, the offense looks good with Joe Donkey, all those receiving weapons that he has. Mixon's looking pretty good. And, this defense is playing some pretty good football as well. But they're going to be in New York against the Jets this week. It's probably one of my favorite streaming defenses for the week. The Jets, or teams that have faced off against the Jets for the defensive scoring, have scored 10 or more points in 5 of the 7 games this year. So I like those trend of that to continue this week with the Cincinnati Bengals, especially when you have, Zach Wilson's out. They go out and they trade for Joe Flacco. I'm assuming he's going to start, not Mike White. So you're getting a quarterback who just got traded and he's just coming into the building. He's been there before.
The Jets.
Yeah, he's been there for the yeah. Joe Flacco's played for the Jets before, I believe. Right? If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Obviously he's probably familiar with that to some degree, but that was back when the Adam Gase era was there, I believe. So yeah, it's just a short week for him to learn the new offense, get up to speed with all the new offensive players, etc. Yeah, give me the Bengals defense.
It's pretty crazy. Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like Dan Marino did one.
Yeah.
Let's go on to the Broncos defense. Denver. We talked about the Broncos defense before the season started. They played the Washington football team this week at home. You always talk about Mile High Stadium is definitely like one of the last real home field advantages. There's some teams where they're like it's not really that big of a home field advantage. So, but the Broncos Mile High, it is. And I think they come back after losing 4 games in a row. I mean, they held the Browns. Obviously, it was Case Keenum, but they held the Browns to a decent total.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this one is, Broncos, we were high on them, like Mike said. A couple good games to start the season kind of have fallen off. I know Von Miller got banged up on Thursday night. He left the game, so obviously that impacts the defense, to a certain degree. But at home, hopefully this defense can turn things around here. Heineke has been doing pretty well for the Washington football team, but he's basically like a huck it, chuck it, fuck it kind of guy where he just throws the ball into the air. And I think he's
probably fun to watch.
Yeah, he could probably get you some like the Terry McLaurin touchdown. It was a huck it, chuck it, fuck it throw where he just threw it up and McLaurin adjusted and out battled the guy in the air for the touchdown. But I don't know if he'll be able to do that this week against the Broncos with all the weapons or all the defenders they have in the secondary for the Broncos. So yeah, I'm not mad at potentially streaming this matchup this week.
Yeah, I mean everybody's talking about Trayvon Diggs, but I like Surtain.
Yeah,
Surtain.
I think it's Surtain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking Roethlisberger, the quarterback, was all fucking hug it, chug it, football all night.
That's Taylor Heineke. Hug it, chug it. Okay. Let's go on to the Chicago Bears defense. The Bears, oh my God. The Bears against the 49ers. It's in Chicago. We're a lot of home teams for defenses this week. I'm not sure what's their percentage roster.
I think it was pretty low because they're playing against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so a lot of people are dropping them. But
they're only 16%.
This one was kind of weird because it was like at first I saw I kind of like the Niners against the Bears. Like Justin Fields looks terrible. They have zero passing attack whatsoever. So, maybe they could just stack the box and kind of stop the run. But then I was thinking, okay, Jimmy Garoppolo didn't look very good either, and the Bears are at home at least. You're getting a West Coast team traveling, I guess to the Midwest or whatever you want to call it. It's getting to that time of year too where it's going to be cold. So it's going to be cold in Soldier Field for the Bears. Jimmy Garoppolo not looking very good. Kittle's on IR. Brandon has sucked. Obviously they have Deebo Samuel there, who's their only offensive weapon outside of Elijah Mitchell. So I think if they can contain those guys to some degree, the Bears defense at least, then I do like the Bears defense as a streaming option this week at home against a struggling Jimmy Garoppolo and a struggling 49ers offense.
Yeah, it was funny how we were thinking about putting both of those guys in there, Niners and Bears defense, but I'll
go with the home team here.
Yeah, I'll go with the Bears defense.
Yeah, that game strikes me as like an under game. Like both these teams want to run the ball more than throw the ball, so the clock's constantly running. And then just both like subpar offenses right now, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting too many points being scored.
Do you want to guess what the over/under on this Bears game is?
38.
It's very, very close.
What is it?
40.
40, nice. Yeah.
The Washington Broncos game is 43, and the what was the other one we did? The
Washington Broncos game I think can go over potentially because
what was the other game we did?
The Bengals.
The Bengals. Excuse me. Where are we at here? The Bengals. Jets game is 43 also. Yeah. So, I mean, some of the lowest, Steelers, Browns.
I mean, if the Patriots could put up 54 points on the Jets, the Bengals might score 80. So, I'm taking the over.
We just got to watch that line, see how it moves. But anyways, so that should be it. No? Yep.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all we got for.
Oh, wow. Look, and we helped you win your week.
Oh, wow.
Subscribe, like, comment, follow.
Oh,
donate.
Listen, the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. What a sleeper. Sleeper podcast,
Sleeper
dude.
podcast of the year.
You wanna fuck with my huh?
You wanna fuck with us?
I'm taking that soundboard away from you. You just
because here's the thing.
There was no fucking flub.
Okay, Dan said it first. There's no fucking flub. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast to the moon. That was cringy. Anyways,
I just hope we can win a game.
Yeah, that's not what you're saying because guess what? You've been listening, dog. You've been fucking hearing us talk and whatnots. And so you were winning, baby. Yeah, I should get the soundboard into your hands. I'm not good at it. I don't know how. There's like certain things I'm pretty decent at editing, all these posting things like that. But fuck, this soundboard, dude.
It's like you just want to touch it.
Yeah, I can't help it, dude. I'm like, yeah. Anyways, but go download Underdog Fantasy right now.
AVG promo code AVG. You see it right there?
Do you like $100, dude? Do you like $100? Honestly, it's actually pretty dope because they do. Do you remember? You play Call of Duty? Did you play Call of Duty, Tyler?
Is a bear shit in the woods?
Okay. Remember in Call of Duty when you'd be like in the match, and someone on the other team would be like, you'd be talking crap with them, right?
Yeah.
And then like they would be like, "Oh yeah, bro, 1v1 me, bro." Remember that?
Yeah.
They'd be like 1v1 me. You go into a private match and you just like 1v1, and usually the kid was like insanely good and he would fuck you up. But listen, if you're confident in your fantasy skills, you can do that in this app. You can create a private match with Underdog Fantasy and literally draft like against your friends. So like say you're in a league with somebody and you and like, one team's really good, but like the points against them is so low, and the points against your team throughout the year has been super high. I mean, like Tyler, you say it all the time. It's like you can go and challenge that person in the Underdog Fantasy app and private match them, and literally like prove that like, hey, dude, I'll pick my guys for this week. You pick yours, and then you can literally put like $10, but you could bet money on it.
Yeah, dude.
Or not bet.
Like I'm better than you, dude. You know why?
Yeah.
Because I listen to AVG.
Yeah, so exactly. So, but you can do that. Listen to who we say to take that for the week, and you can win money from your friends. You could prove it to them. So it's pretty cool. I thought that was pretty sweet. It reminded me of that. So, but yeah,
dude, I'll fucking 1v, dude.
So get that,
bet, dude.
You know what you should do is
Oh, why are you trying to just hear from the subject, dude? I'll
will.
1v1 you, dude.
Okay, I will.
Beer bet, dude.
No.
Oh, dude.
Okay, I'm in.
No.
Come back. Anyways, yeah. So, but if you use promo code AVG, you get up to $100 match on your deposit. So if you put $100 in, you get a free $100. You could private match.
Free money.
Free. Do you
Money.
like free? Because I do. Yeah. So, but go ahead, check that out. Links in the description. Also, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Do all that good stuff. We have social medias as well. All those links are in the link tree link down below, all of our socials and all that good stuff. So go ahead and check that stuff out. I have the hiccups. Anything else you want to say? You want to leave with the people?
My fingers
appreciate
hurt.
you guys. I always say I appreciate you guys.
Honestly, I'm like so hyped. We've been doing this for a couple years now, and like we just kind of been switching up how we've been posting things, and we've gotten a lot of growth this year. And I want to say, super hyped on all the new people watching, enjoying the content, and all that stuff. And hopefully we've been able to help you win your fantasy football league so far this year. We love fantasy football. It's like so much fun. So I think about it night and day. And fly away. I believe I can fly.
All right, that's it. All right. And us big boys
are out.
This has been the AVG Fantasy Football Podcast. Please leave a rating and review. Thank you.